The game of power. Lesson 2. Never trust friends too much. Learn to use enemies. When we step into the world, we often seek comfort in those we already know. Friends feel safe. They've been with us in the trenches. They've laughed with us, suffered with us, maybe even bled beside us. Naturally, we assume their loyalty is unwavering. But in the game of power, this assumption is one of the most dangerous you can make. Power does not live in the realm of comfort. It lives in the realm of strategy. And in that realm, trust must be earned, not assumed. Consider the story of a Byzantine emperor named Michael III. A young ruler, inexperienced and vulnerable, he stood at the centre of a court, brimming with conspiracies and silent ambitions. Surrounded by opportunists, he turned to the one man he believed he could trust, his best friend, a man named Basilius. Their bond was forged in drama. Years earlier, when Michael was still a prince, a wild horse nearly ended his life. Basilius, then a mere stable boy of peasant blood, leapt in and saved him. That act of courage planted a seed of loyalty, or so Michael believed. From that moment on, Basilius was rewarded with favour after favour. He was brought into the royal circle, given education, riches, even married to one of Michael's mistresses. This stable hand had become a noble, all because of the emperor's trust and generosity. But power changes people, and access to power corrupts the imagination. Basilius wanted more. He whispered into Michael's ear, poisoning his mind with suspicions against others, especially Michael's uncle Bardas, a man far more qualified and experienced in governance. Blinded by friendship, Michael dismissed reason and followed his friend's counsel. Bardas was murdered, and Basilius took his place. Now, with military command and political influence, Basilius grew fat with power. He began to see himself not as the emperor's servant, but as his equal, if not his superior. When Michael asked for repayment on some debts, Basilius refused with contempt. The message was clear: the emperor no longer controlled his own creation. Not long after, soldiers stormed Michael's chamber. They didn't come to protect him, they came to end him. Basilius had seized everything: the wealth, the army, the throne. As Michael's body lay still, his head was paraded through the streets of Byzantium, held high by the very man he once called a brother. What went wrong? Michael confused gratitude with loyalty. He believed that giving endlessly to a friend would strengthen the bond. But power does not obey sentiment. Power tempts, seduces, and transforms. The more you give someone a taste of it, the more they want the whole feast. A friend who rises by your side often becomes a mirror, reflecting back your weaknesses, your indulgence, and your dependence on them. In time, they may come to resent the very gifts you gave. Deep down, they may tell themselves they earned it all through their own merit, and when the day comes that your position no longer benefits them, they will no longer protect you. That is why friends, however warm and familiar, are often more dangerous than enemies. Enemies are predictable. You know where they stand. They keep their distance, but they also keep their honour. If you win them over, they are often more grateful than any friend could ever be, because they know what it means to lose, and they know what it means to be spared. In ancient China, a man named Sung rose to power in a time of chaos. General after general had murdered their way onto the throne, only to be murdered in turn. Emperor Sung knew that if he simply eliminated his rivals, he would become another link in a chain of violence, so he took a different approach. After ascending the throne, he invited his top generals to a private feast. They arrived, anxious and unarmed, certain this would be their final night. But instead of executions, Sung made them an offer. Give up your command, and I'll grant you a life of pleasure. Land, riches, music, companionship. All yours if you step away from ambition. The next day the generals resigned. Sung had transformed potential traitors into comfortable, grateful nobles. He disarmed them not with blades, but with luxury. And when he faced down former enemies, kings who had plotted his downfall, he offered them wine, not poison. Honour, not humiliation. Trust, not imprisonment. Each one, shocked by his mercy, became a loyal vassal. Because when you turn a threat into an ally, Their loyalty is born not from obligation, but from awe. That's the secret few understand. The man you forgive may serve you better than the one you've never had to correct. A former enemy knows what they owe. A friend forgets. Abraham Lincoln once faced a similar moment. At the height of America's Civil War, a woman chastised him for referring to Confederate rebels as fellow citizens. She urged him to treat them as enemies to be crushed. Lincoln simply replied, "Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends?" There is power in mercy, but there is also strategy in distrust. So how do you apply this? First, be slow to elevate friends into positions of influence. Their gratitude may fade, their expectations will grow, and when they feel entitled to your throne, they won't hesitate to take it. Second, don't be afraid to use your enemies. Hire them, trust them with tasks, show them that you're stronger than the grudge between you. Their loyalty will be rooted in respect and fear, not comfort and complacency. Third, keep emotions in check. Friendship feels personal, but power must remain impersonal. The closer someone is to your heart, the more blind you become to their ambition. In the end, you don't need to hate your friends or love your enemies. You simply need to use them both wisely. Friends may bring comfort, but comfort is the enemy of clarity. And in the game of power, clarity is everything. Choose respect over rapport. Choose function over familiarity. Let enemies remind you of your strength, and let friends earn their place, again and again. That is how you survive. That is how you win.